Hey guys, I'm at the Station Nightclub Fire Memorial here in West Warwick, Rhode Island. The Station Fire nightclub occurred on February 20th, 2003, and it ended up killing 100 people and injuring around 230 people. The fire was caused by pyrotechnics set off by the tour manager of Great White, the band that was headlining that night, and it ignited some foam in the walls, and then it quickly spread. So I'm just going to do a little walkthrough here of the memorial. I'm not going to show any pictures or videos or anything like that from the event. You can find those online. That's not what this video is about. I'm just going to try to focus on all the memorial plaques here, and just talk about the event as I walk through. So, like I said, the tour manager lit off some pyrotechnics, lit on some acoustic foam in the walls and ceiling. That was kind of a noise reducer, dampener. It reached a flashover point within 1 minute and caused all the combustible materials to burn in the building. A lot of intense black smoke engulfed the club within just a couple minutes. There was a lot of video footage there. There was a news crew there that night, and it kind of showed people, they were all congested into the few exits out of the building. The toxic smoke heat resulted in a rush to the main exit, and that caused a crush. And again, 100 died, 230 were injured, and then 132 escaped without injury. So it was the fourth deadliest fire at a nightclub in U.S. history, second deadliest in New England. So it was a serious event. Any loss of life is a serious event, but over 100 folks. So like I said, the fire just started seconds into the band's opening song, when Dan Beachel, who was the tour manager, like I said, he ignited some pyrotechnics that they were given permission to, and it lit the acoustic foam on fire. There's a whole lot of issues about that, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. So the flames, they spread super quickly. The band stopped playing. Jack Russell, who's the lead singer, said something in the microphone like, wow, that's not good. And then they quickly got off the stage. It was completely engulfed in flames, and they exited off a kind of a band entrance off just to the side of the stage. By the time the nightclub's fire alarm had activated, and there were 4 possible exits, but most people go into the door they came, or try to exit the door they came in on, and they kind of crushed that door, unfortunately, and it was just tragedy. There were 462 people in attendance. The club's official capacity was 404, so they were over capacity, which is essential, for exiting, and number of bathrooms, size of, everything. Occupancy regulates everything, especially fire. And most of the people that died of burns, smoke inhalation, thermal trauma, or one of the worst is a crushing death when they got bottlenecked at the doors and they died. There was quite a few deaths at the door. I think there was over 31 deaths at the main door. Another 27 or so kind of in that general vicinity, and then unfortunately a lot of people tried to exit out what they thought were exits that were blocked. A lot of folks died in the kitchen and in the restrooms. They got to an area that there was no exit, and they ended up dying there. But like I said, the big area of death was unfortunately right around the main entrance exit into the building. Like I said, there was a news crew there that day reporting on another issue, and they caught a lot of this tragedy on film, unfortunately, but that did help investigators, of course, determine what had happened. So after the fire, through the attorneys, the club owners said they did not give permission for the band to use the pyrotechnics. The band members claimed that they had permission, so there's a he said type of situation there. There were no fire sprinklers in the building. Not saying that would have stopped the building from burning down, but it would have at least probably given enough time for everybody to exit. When you get something that flammable, even sprinkler systems don't work, but they can slow the spread, and most of the fire investigators believe that would have happened. So there's, like I said, there's that. There were 3 people brought to had criminal charges. It was the Great White's tour manager, Dan Beachel, and then there was the 2 brothers that owned the club. The band manager's trial, he ended up pleading guilty to manslaughter, and he got a prison sentence of several years, up to 15. I think a bunch of it was deferred and whatnot. I don't understand all that, but he had some of his sentence deferred. There was he had a letter, and I'm going to read it here, that he gave a statement in sentencing, and this is from the tour manager. For 3 years, I wanted to be able to speak to the people that were affected by this tragedy, but I know there's nothing that I can say or do that will undo what happened that night. Since the fire, I have wanted to tell the victims and their families how truly sorry I am for what happened that night and the part that I had in it. I never wanted anyone to be hurt in any way. I never imagined that anyone would be. I know how this tragedy has devastated me, but I can only begin to understand what the people who lost loved ones have endured. I don't know that I'll ever forgive myself for what happened that night, so I can't expect anybody else to. I can only pray that they understand that I would do anything to undo what happened that night and give them back their loved ones. I'm so sorry for what I have done, and I don't want to cause anyone any more pain. I will never forget that night, and I will never forget the people that were hurt by it. I am sorry. So he was given a 15-year prison sentence, and like I said, he had some suspended and served already. And if you watch the video of him in court, I mean, I truly believe he was, remorseful. He pled guilty, didn't try to negotiate anything, just pled guilty. So he knew his role and he took responsibility for it. The amazing thing is there was a lot of support for his parole early on. A lot of the victims, family members, surviving members, they really wrote a lot of letters to the judge and the court asking, for him to get parole, and ultimately he did get released from prison on March 2008. And now I'm not saying all the family was supportive of that, but he had a lot of support from the family, from the family's victims, from the family of the victims. A lot of them pointed out that he had sent handwritten letters to all the family members of each of the 100 victims. So it might have played. He clearly took responsibility. A lot of those folks thought he was kind of a scapegoat. A lot of the responsibility lied with the nightclub owners. So I talked to the nightclub owners. They were Michael and Jeffrey Deirdre, and they pled not guilty, no contest, thereby avoiding trial. Michael, one of the brothers, he received 15 years in prison, 4 to serve, and 11 years suspended plus 2 years probation. The same sentence as Beechel. And then Jeff Deirdre, the other brother, he received 500 hours of community service. Station Fire Memorial Park here where we're at today, and the memorial was dedicated on May 21st, 2017. And it's a, as you can see from the walkthrough, it's a beautiful memorial for the victims of the fire. A little personal aside here now, since I'm kind of gone through the disaster, is I go to a lot of concerts. I would have been at this concert if I had lived within 10 miles of this site. I've seen Great White dozens of times over the years, and so I would have been here as well. And one thing I definitely have learned from this disaster is, know where you came in, know where your exits are at. Just know your surroundings, situational awareness, and that's something I definitely learned from this disaster, and I hope a lot of other people did too. And a lot of codes changed regarding this disaster. Unfortunately, it takes an event like this to change the laws and regulations. And this disaster, I truly believe will save thousands of lives in the future with code changes. So there you go, guys. The Station Club fire, 100 deaths and hundreds of victims.